Hi everyone, my name is Liz with Collectiv, and today we are going to talk about some of the biggest Power Automate mistakes you might make and how you can avoid them. Power Automate is a super useful tool and can do a lot of really great things. But also, mistakes can happen, and they can happen on a grand scale. So today I am going to share some mistakes that I've made and help you to avoid them. The first mistake you'll want to avoid is having your flow run before you expect it to. So this isn't technically the flow doing anything wrong. Maybe the flow is just running a little earlier than we anticipated. For example, in this demo I have set up, I want our flow to send an email to everyone when they confirm that they viewed their license expiration date. But if I go in here to make any edits to this flow before we send the initial email out, the flow will just run because I have my flow turned on, and everyone will just get the email automatically. So I'll show you what I mean. Let's say I have this list of our employees with their license expiration date and their email, and I want all of the employees to come into their record and then just click a box that they confirm that they reviewed their expiration date. And then by them editing the item in SharePoint, I have a flow that will send them an email saying that this is your license expiration date, and then they can keep it for their records. But let's say I review this with my team, and we decide we also want to add in their license number. So let's say I have all of the license numbers in an Excel file, and I'm going to copy and paste them into this SharePoint list. All right, so now I have pasted all of the license numbers into SharePoint. I'll exit grid view. So now these are all set up. But the problem is my flow has already ran because I edited the item. So now basically this just sent out emails to everyone on my list without me intending to. So for 4 people, it's not as bad, but I've done this on lists of 400 people before. Then that's a little scary. You get 400 automated emails, everyone's asking you questions about them, it's a whole mess. So let's talk about how we can avoid this. And I'm gonna start by going into Edit, and I'm gonna copy this particular item in the flow to my clipboard, because I'm actually going to start by removing it. So let's delete this. And we are going to set up a condition. So let's put in a new step, and we'll set up a control condition. So this allows us to insert an if statement into our flow. So we can tell this flow to only send if this box is checked as confirmed, for example. Or another one that I like to do, I like to set it to where the person modifying the item is not equal to me. Because I know in this case, I'm gonna be doing a lot of the edits to this list before it goes out. So I wanna make sure any edits that I make will not trigger Power Automate to send the flow. So let's set that up. I'm gonna use my email. So I'll say modified by email is equal to, we'll put my email in here. And now we can use these yes and no conditions to control when that email will go out. So basically we'll say if the email is equal to me, that's this yes box right here, and we'll just leave this blank. And leaving this box blank will just mean that Power Automate won't do anything. The flow will still run successfully, but no action will be taken at the end because I'm going to leave this yes box blank. And let's go into this no box and click on add an action. And from here, we can go to our clipboard and get that email that we sent out before. So now if the modified by is not equal to me, this email will go out. So that means I can make any edits to my list that I need to, and it won't trigger this Power Automate automation. So let's test it with a previously used trigger, and we'll watch this happen. So I am gonna click automatically, and we'll use the trigger from a few minutes ago. All right, so my flow ran successfully, and if I open up this condition box, you'll notice there's a little X next to the email, and that just means that the flow successfully ran, but this email was not sent, which is exactly what we want, and I can continue making any edits to my list that I need to. Mistake number 2 is not necessarily understanding how data is coming into Power Automate from whatever your data source is. So this can happen where a date might look really funky in your email that you send out, or maybe you have a person inserted in there and it's some weird version of their email. There's lots of different ways that sometimes the data that comes automatically into Power Automate might not be in exactly the format that we expect. So today we are going to look at the same email flow we had before, but let's say we did want to make this condition that we only want this email to send when the confirm box is checked. So let's go back into SharePoint for a moment. Let's say that Max Anderson goes in and reviews his license expiration date, and he clicks on the confirm box. So now this box is in a yes/no column in SharePoint. So we would expect this box to come through as a yes. So let's go back to Power Automate. So now I've changed the condition to reflect when the confirmed box is equal to yes. And we're going to say when the confirmed box is equal to yes, we want Power Automate to send out that email. So I've copied it to my clipboard. Let's go and grab it. Okay, so now when that confirm box is switched to yes, Power Automate will send this email. So let's save this and give it a test. All right, so you can see my flow ran successfully. So let's take a look at how it went. So if we look in the condition here, it says that the input returned false. So basically what that means is that it's saying that yes wasn't in that confirmed box. And you might be thinking to yourself, how is that? Because that's a yes/no box and we switched it to yes. So why didn't yes show up in the confirm box? Because you can see this email didn't send. So a good way to test that is to look at the outputs from our first step. So let's go up to this when an item is created or modified step and click on download the outputs. Now this file might look a little intimidating, but we're just going to use Control F to search for the word confirmed, and then we'll be able to see what SharePoint sent to Power Automate when that switch was flicked to yes. So we can see here, I did a Control F and I got to the word confirmed. So confirmed is coming across as true instead of yes. So even though it might look like a yes/no switch to us, on the back end, it's actually a true/false switch. So what we need to do is go back to our Power Automate and change that from yes to true. So let's do that. We'll click on Edit. So we're going to switch our confirm statement right here to confirmed is equal to true. All right, now let's save it and test one more time and make sure it works. So I just used the trigger that we used before, and I changed it to that first statement is equal to true, the confirmed statement. And you can see now it's true, so this email was triggered. So now this flow works exactly as we would expect it to. So just be aware that sometimes what's coming into Power Automate might not look exactly like you think it will, but a good way to check that is just to download the outputs, do a Control F for whatever field you're in, and see what the raw outputs look like yourself. The third common mistake in Power Automate is actually a mistake that's made across the Microsoft Power Platform, and that's creating nested folders, but not pointing Power Automate to the nested folders. This is a daily files folder that we have that has all these files from December in it. So let's say now it's January, I come along to my daily files folder and I decide to make another subfolder for January. And this folder is meant to automatically refresh a Power BI dataset. So I go into January and I'm gonna put in my file for January. All right, so now that's uploaded. I uploaded it to my daily files folder. And now I'm gonna check on the flow that's attached to this folder. So here is the Power Automate flow that I have attached to that folder. When an item is created, it's meant to refresh a Power BI dataset. But you'll notice that this trigger action is pointed at the daily files folder. It's not pointed to any subfolder. So this will not cause my flow to run, because in Power Automate's mind, nothing has been changed in my daily files folder because we added a new subfolder and then added the new files there. So a way to avoid this is to be mindful about how you create your folders in the first place. This is where you'll really want to think at the beginning about the longevity of your folder or your report. So maybe when I'm setting this up, instead of just pointing it at the daily files folder, I know that I'll have to set this up to an individual month. So to change this, I'll just come in here, I'll quickly repoint this. So let's go into the little folder icon. We'll go into the daily files folder and select the January folder. So you can do this, but you'll have to do it again every single month. So I would advise, if you have files for a data refresh like this, to just keep all the files in one folder. So those are 3 common Power Automate mistakes. I hope by sharing them, I've saved you from some catastrophic Power Automate failures. If you have any questions, or if you have a mistake to share so that others can avoid it, please leave those in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you all later.